Three, two, one.
We'd like to welcome you to another edition of Grok Talk, brought to you by New Hampshire's leading conservative blog site, GraniteGrok.com. We are your feared extremist, right-wing, hard-charging, gun-toting, opinionated, outspoken, rabble-rousing, letter-writing, radio microphone stomping conservatives and rational libertarians. So get ready for more news and opinion you could only get from GraniteGrok.com.
Grok Talk.
All right, welcome back to Hour 2 of Grok Talk. It's October 24th, 2015. My name is Steve McDonald. I am here with Ed Nail, who is still with us, Mike Rogers, and Skip Murphy from the CNHT studios in Concord, New Hampshire. Don't forget to check us out on Spreaker.com, Stitcher, iTunes, TuneIn, iHeart, and, of course, at GraniteGrok.com and TheRockNHCR.com. We are also on Ustream and YouTube, everywhere, all the time, no excuses. Onward we go. So, this is normally our first segment is just us kind of shooting a you-know-what and talking about the WTFs and all those other things, but we had to book Andrew early, so now we're going to do it right here, and this is what we're going to talk about. So, we always have a Whiskey Tango Foxtrot. We always have several, and Skip sent me a couple this morning, and I didn't really have a chance to look at them, but he did, which is really all that matters.
And I have one, but Skip
Mike
goes
has
first.
Okay, the first one isn't quite a WTF. It's sort of with a little bit of sadness. We lost one of the Army's finest, Master Sergeant Joshua Wheeler, in Iraq. Delta Force Special Operator, 11 Bronze Stars, 4 of them with Valor insignia. He was trying to help rescue 70 Iraqi soldiers from ISIS, and he was killed in action. And prayers go out to his family and his friends and other loved ones. But the problem I have here is that at the highest level, at the White House and at the Department of Defense, here is somebody who was killed in combat. They refuse to call it combat. And once again, it's a meme that never stops, which is the left redefining the common language out from underneath us.
His boots were not on the ground, they were hovering.
Yeah, well, I don't want to
It was an overseas contingency operation.
Yeah, unfortunately, guys, I'm not even going to go there with the jokes because this gets to be a real serious-minded WTF versus the more lighthearted, snark-filled ones that we normally do. And as a double blue star dad, it could have been my sons in that case. And if that were to happen, because this guy ran to the sound of gunfire to help those that he was supposed to be with.
This is a window into the soul of the administration.
It is. The fact that they can't call something what it really is, just so that we in the collective, can preserve President Obama's legacy. And because he said it isn't there, he ended the war. Well, it goes against everything that you look at because wars only end when both sides decide that it's over. And you just can't declare it over because the other side gets a vote, and we saw the vote, unfortunately. So yeah. That's the more serious one.
Well, you said a window into the soul, Ed, and I think that's the point. When you look through the window, there is nothing there because they already sold it to the devil.
Yeah, I have this whole thing I kind of thought up on my own. Maybe not the first person, but Nazis burn books, communists kill everybody who can read or write. But socialists just rewrite everything to make their own world seem perfect, like it actually works. So right is wrong, up is down, down is up, 1 and 1 is whatever number you want it to be. And that's what we're involved in. Everything is the opposite of the way it should be. You can predict what they're going to say, almost to a T. That's the way these people are. They're progressives, communitarians, liberals, whatever you want to call them. They are the scourge of this country, and they are entrenched. They have control of it, and things like this they just brush it off. It's just the kid with the clock is more important than the guy with the 4 bronze stars. That's 11. The way they operate. 11. I'm sorry, 11.
This is the thing that gets me. 19 years service, from what I understand, but 11 bronze stars.
How do you get that many in that time?
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
I've never.
John Kerry buys them, but this guy earned them.
You got to work. You got to work for him. Yeah.
Yeah, you certainly do earn them. But there are some other things that caught my eye. One of them being Lois Lerner, the person who first served in the Federal Elections Committee and then went over to the IRS at the heart of the targeting situation against conservative Tea Party types trying to get nonprofit status, trying to get the tax-free status. Here's where the snark can come in, folks. Gosh, I just can't believe it. The Obama administration's Department of Justice has decided that Lois Lerner did nothing wrong.
It's like she had a baton outside of a voting booth or something. You know?
Yeah, there's absolutely no need for her to be indicted or criminally processed.
Progressives nurture their criminals. We try and throw them in jail or remove them or have nothing to do with them. They coddle them, they nurture them, and they put them in highest positions they possibly can. You just look around.
Yeah, I mean, this is serious in that we have said for years that the federal government is now all but weaponized politically. And this is certainly a case of that if you participate in that weaponization, and I don't care whether you're a Democrat or a Republican, either way it's wrong, because at this point, whichever way it goes, half the population is no longer going to trust the government. Not that we really trust the government all that much to begin with. In fact, the Gallup poll came out just a little bit ago. One of their biggest concerns is all the corruption that's happening in government now. Surprise to Mr. CNHT here. But
Sorry, you were eating.
Yeah, a healthy distrust of government is what the republic is basically founded on. It's one of the reasons the citizens are armed, but but that's not the only thing. I mean, if you do not watch and oversee and to some extent distrust your government, it will grow out of control, as it indeed has.
Yeah, and obviously that also goes along with what we saw in the news the last couple of days with Hillary Clinton and the
pizza drones.
With the new, the email came out that basically said she told Chelsea and her family that, well, we knew it was an attack, and then they turned around and said it was all about the video, and the video maker, went to jail. Now
has he come out of jail yet?
Nope. I don't think so.
I think he came out and then they
didn't
snagged
put
him
him
again.
back in.
They
then
didn't
they
put him
snagged
in
him back in for some kind of probation.
Right there. Why don't we all know? We should all know where that guy is.
Oh, that's because I can't remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
They arrested him and then they put him in jail for something else. The video got him arrested, and then he had some outstanding warrant or some past thing, and they used that as an excuse to toss him in jail.
Yesterday, for an hour, I was at a meeting with what I would call establishment Republicans. So I'm like the zebra in the room full of lions, let's say. And they were stunned.
But were you a well-armed zebra?
Yeah, they were stunned by the fact that Carson is doing so well and Trump is doing so well. This doesn't fit in with their, in 2002, so-and-so carried that, and so-and-so carried these 3 counties, but he didn't carry this town. They do all their analysis of elections, and Trump and Carson do not fit in. And they're going on and on and on about why does this, who can I, finally I got a chance to speak. I said, I don't think you people are factoring in the absolute disgust people have with elected officials. We've come to a point, it's progressed to a tipping point where none of their standard operating procedures work anymore. Yeah. It doesn't. The standard information doesn't fit. The data doesn't match. I mean, they're so far removed from everyday people and working there. What campaign are you on? What campaign are you? And how are we going to win this one? How much money does this candidate have? Will he make the phone calls? They're so wrapped up in that I don't think they can see why. Trump doesn't explain Carson. Carson doesn't explain Trump. But those two together explain what the voters who are polled think of elected officials. If you're holding office, they're just disgusted that the Democrats have poured so much disdain and hate on the Republicans and called them so many names and marginalized them. And the Democrats are such liars, smiling at your testimony before Congress. Ha, 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 big joke, I'm walking out of here. Lois Lerner doesn't get indicted. They're so disgusted with that, it's a pox on all your houses. So it's not surprising that some lunatic like Bernie Sanders is doing so well in the polls and who's basically out of nowhere. He's never done anything as a U.S. Senator for as long as he's been there. And then you have Trump, who's not elected official, never has been. Carson, who's just a smart guy. And Fiorina never held office. These people are doing so well. I think that we're in fertile ground for change.
And the other one that's doing well is Cruz, who won our caucus last week, and he's doing well because he's regarded as an outsider. All the insiders hate him, therefore the public that hates the insiders tend to like him.
But Cruz sticks to his word.
Yes,
yes,
that's
what they see. It sticks out like a diamond.
He does two things. He fights like Trump fights, but without being quite as
abrasive.
And he sticks to his word. You never find him contradicting himself. And the guy is a fabulous debater. But more than that, you said the important thing, Ed. He works for it. No matter where you look in Cruz's campaign, and now that the veils and the gloves are officially off because the caucus has been held, and those of us that were involved can now be biased instead of unbiased. Wherever you look at Cruz, he has worked his butt off, or his people have worked their butt off. They did that tour of the southern states. They set up county chairs, precinct captains. Everywhere they went, they have set up a recurring base of donors. The exit interview that Pete the Tech guy did after the caucus, there was a piece in there that was so important, he reblogged it the next day and said, in case you missed it, this is the point. The point is they have enough donors making regular small donations that their staff in 24 states are paid for without having to go out and look for more money.
All right, we're going to take a really quick break, and then we're going to do some more WTFs. I found one, by the way, that I had posted. So, Steve McDonald, Grok Talk. Be right back.
Grok Talk.